Hello, this is lesson 3 on news translation, and today we'll talk about news headlines translation. As we said, the headline is the first in the news report format that consists of headline, lead and body. So in the headline you can use actually comma, you can use some punctuations in order to in replacement of some words. For example, the comma, you can use the comma instead of and or but or who is and so on. For example, look at this headline: eat chocolate, comma, win Nobel. Eat chocolate, win Nobel. So the comma here means eat chocolate and win Nobel. Or vessel returns, comma, 22 missing. Vessel returns but 22 missing. The comma here means but, and in the first sentence it means and. Or you say girl 2 survives fall. So that the comma here, girl who is 2 survives fall. The colon, also the colon, you can use the colon in order to mean something, so it represents words like Mid-East, then colon, no talks despite US mission. So the colon here means that what comes after it actually is talking about what's before the colon. So Mid-East colon, that means that the talk is about, or the headline, the report is about Middle East. Iran to reduce oil consumption, then colon, official. That means this is what an official said, Iranian official said. This is a quote, but you put the official, you put your source at the end in the headline. Or you can say death level nears international warning level, then colon and report, meaning this is what a report says, this is what's mentioned in a report. Or Chinese cooks, colon, masters at turning turnip into flowers. The colon here means are. It represents the verb are, the verb to be. So Chinese cooks are masters at turning turnip into flowers. But in order to save space on the page, we use colon and commas instead of certain words. We can say, for example, 37 killed in Italian plane crash. In the headline, try to delete the articles. Try to delete the articles a, or the, or an. You don't mention them, you don't use them in headlines, like 37 killed in Italian plane crash. So it should be 37 killed in an Italian plane crash, but you write in this way in the lead and the body, but not in the headline. Or patient dies of heart attack. It's not a patient, it should be a patient dies of heart attack, but in the headline no need for the article a. Also deletion of pronouns. Irish group kills ex-chief. It's Irish group kills its ex-chief, but it's here, this pronoun is deleted. Anne and baby are well. Anne and should be Anne and her baby are well. We delete the pronoun in the headline. Prepositions also can be deleted, like Anhui celebrates coal mine building, meaning the building of coal mine building instead of the building of coal mine. Deletion of verbs. Courses on translation popular with students, meaning courses on translation remains popular with students. Or cups under fire, meaning cups are under fire. Deletion of auxiliary verbs, like Moscow's food prices soaring, meaning Moscow's food prices are soaring. Accentuation and condensation. When you translate a Chinese headline into English, usually the Chinese headline is much longer than the English headline. And here you don't have to translate the Chinese headline word for word. Like this headline here, Zhang Ziyi, Zhuan Kuan Men Zhenxiang. This is about a famous Chinese actors. So you don't have to translate this headline, this long headline, and the following sub-headlines word for word. You just can translate the content and the meaning in as few English words as possible. So you can say actors denies charity fraud. This, of course, after you get the picture and you understand the meaning of the whole sentence, you just put it in as few words as possible. This will save more space on the page. So always try to use as few words as possible in the English headlines. Another example of using trendy words and expressions. For example, look at this title in Chinese. 中国现在就行成员种子. So the word 现在 here literally means cottage, but you cannot translate it in this way because in Chinese, even though literally it means cottage, but it means any fake, any counterfeit, any copy, like copy watch, for example, any copycat. So this headline, you need to translate it as counterfeit seeds appear. Counterfeit seeds appear. And as I said in the second lesson, I think you should use short and simple words. So you should say about instead of approximately, aid instead of help or assist, ban instead of prohibit, bar instead of prevent, and so on. Abbreviations, use abbreviations. Use, for example, WTO, EU, UN, WHO, BN for billion, and so on. High tech for high technology, expo for exposition, and so on. For the people names, always use the surname, only the surname in the headline, only the surname. The places, when you refer to places, you can refer to their abbreviations like BJ for Beijing, SH for Shanghai, GZ for Guangzhou, GD for Guangdong, BOC, for example, corporations or banks, BOC, Bank of China, HSBC, Hong Kong Bank, Hong Kong and Shanghai Bank Corporations, and so on. Always use or try to use rhetoric. For example, a headline says, soccer kicks off with violence. It's rhetoric, because we know that kicks off means to begin, something to begin, and soccer, it's about kicking the ball. The tense, always use simple present, never use past tense in the headline, always use simple present, or indefinite future. Simple present like a ground war begins, or you can use indefinite future like Nippon to hold down production. All use continuous present like Yugoslav pianist stirring music words, but never use a past tense. You can use passive voice. It's recommended to use passive voice like coverage denied. Here you delete the verbs like coverage was denied, auxiliary verbs, or for example 20,000 feared dead in Western Algerian quake. So this is in passive voice in order to save space in the headline. About the verbs, never begin ahead with a verb. Never begin a headline with a verb. For example, this Chinese headlines in the Minpao, 抗击医护改革爱上免费午餐. In English, never start with the verb, even though the Chinese starts with the verb, but in English it should be translated as health reform proposal resisted. You start with a noun. Always put your audience in your mind. Always remember your audience. When you translate things like, for example, 倭国 or 我是 or 我省 or 老外, how would you translate it into English? Never translate this 倭国 as my country or my city or whatever. No, because you are writing for non-Chinese people, English-speaking people. So 倭国 here should be translated as China. 我是 should be translated as Beijing or Shanghai, depends on what the report is talking about. That's it for this lesson. I hope it's useful, and I'll see you soon in lesson 4. Bye bye.
فكر في واجبك كما تفكر في حقك، واعمل طلبا للإتقان لا طلبا للشهرة والجزاء، ولا تنتظر من الناس أكثر مما يحق للناس أن ينتظروه منك.